It's June 22nd, 2025. This is an area we've been grazing broomsedge with the sheep. It's actually 3 different paddocks here that we have done. So this first one right in through here was the first paddock grazed. We then shifted uphill into this one. That back fence line of this one is right up there, if you can see it by the golf cart. And we hadn't gone to this lower portion because at the time we had gotten a lot of rain, and it's a little lower over here. So that'll be the third one. These areas were pretty heavy in broomsedge, and they also had dog fennel in them, as well as some other stuff, but it was predominantly broomsedge throughout this area. Now we grazed it down extremely hard. This area that's totally bare, that's where the shelter was, and our livestock guardian dog likes to dig that up and get some nice bare ground for shade. But you can really see here where they've hammered it back. They were spending about a week on each spot, so this is probably 3 weeks of rest up there versus just about a week here now. It has let some of the other grasses come up a little bit, like you can see here. I'm not sure what this grass is, but that's something we tend to get in the summer anywhere we've got either low mowed areas or not a lot of other cover. Now what we did is, once they've eaten down the broomsedge, or started to eat it down pretty good, we're supplementing. We always supplement with grain, but we're supplementing with either hay or tree fodder, both of which seem to be doing really well. And of course, keeping a good eye on the sheep's body condition and making sure that they're maintaining okay. And so far so good with that. I have had to mow the broomsedge a couple weeks before they come in, so it's a tender, younger growth. And that's kind of like what's coming up here. Now it's coming back a nice lush green after they've grazed it down, probably due to the fertility boost. With them being on a little smaller of a paddock, obviously that means a lot more urine and manure all condensed into a tighter spot. And we've actually been quite happy with it. Now obviously the goal is still going to be to try and reduce broomsedge as much as possible, but with this being the case, I'm not as positive that I am going to do any sort of lime application. We were definitely considering that, still am considering it, and would prefer to not have to do one. But anyways, just to give you an idea of what we can make it look like when they first come off, it's that. They can absolutely decimate it for us. And that's what we're trying to do with the broomsedge, is really put the heat on it. We're getting ready to go into a heat spell now, so we're actually going to move them back up into the edge of the woods, give them a little bit of area where they've got nice shade. And I don't want to hammer any other areas down in the field right now, because this bare ground is going to get pretty hot during that heat. Last night, opened them up into this spot. This one wasn't so much broomsedge because it was pig pastures last year, pig paddocks last year. And it's got a fair amount of chicory, dog fennel, some different grasses. There is some broomsedge. There was radish and everything else in there as well, some fleabane. Kind of looked like the rest of that. So that gave them a little bit of diversity. And then where we're going to move them next is primarily lawn type grasses. It's up by the house, and it has been a mowed lawn for a while on the one portion, and then in the woods portion is where we ran the pigs through the forest, and then seeded with oats, rye, barley, that sort of thing. It's mostly just some rye through it at the moment. We may have to feed a little bit of hay or tree fodder in there, just depending on what they're doing on that front. But we've got a heat spell coming this week with feels like temperatures of about 100 to 103, pretty high humidity at the time. So just gonna move them back there. That'll give them a little bit more shade, makes it a little easier on us during it, because we've got the pigs out on pasture to, you know, make sure we're able to keep them cool and everything. So, and that area needs to be mowed up by the forest anyway, so we'll see how that goes. The pig paddocks are recovering quite well. You can see the chicories really coming in, and that furthest one actually has really good sorghum sudan grass coming in. So when the sheep come back out from the woods, they may go into one of those, just depending on where they're at, and we'll see from there.